Alright, so it's probably maybe a few days later. I don't know exactly how many days. Doesn't matter. But came out to the beginners beekeeping class. The beginners. Ha! Anyways, I got myself a no-shows pickup. Somebody didn't show, and they didn't pick up their nucleus colony, so I'm going home with another one. So I'm going to have 2 hives as recommended, which actually the state of Florida recommends that you have 3 hives, so that if one of them dies, you can rebuild one of them from 2 different colonies that you have already established. Anyways, let's get these little girls home. Got 45-minute drive, enough time to come up with a name for every one of them. Here they are. This is an easy nucleus box, and this is where they come out of. They are shut down for transportation. Okay, so right behind me, I got my nucleus colony. They're a little bit loud, so they are. We just had a 45-minute ride home. I'm gonna smoke them a little bit to calm them down a little bit. Let them sit here just for a minute in the shade in the garage. Give them time to just settle down. Let them realize that the car ride is over. The honeybee is naturally susceptible to barometric pressure changes, and I'm going to take this time right now to get my smoker started. But if you look right here, you can see, not sure if you can see that, there's a lot of precipitation right now, but it's sunny out and it's pushing fall. The way the sun is lined up in the shadows, I can just tell that, you know, fall is right around the corner. The sun is setting at a different location on the horizon. Anyways, it's September 1st right now, and Labor Day is in 3 days. So this will actually not be a fully sustained hive ready to give honey until next Labor Day. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna try to not do a lot of talking about the installation too much while I'm doing it. I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna let you see what I'm doing. If I'm in the hive and messing with these bees for more than 5 minutes, something's gone wrong. It should be just as fast as you can get them in there without rolling bees. Put them in, slide them over, and I'll illustrate and demonstrate that to you in just a moment. Right now, I've got this right here. This is not a dedicated bee brush. This is a drafting brush. It's got softer bristles, and it's a little bit, I think it's going to be a little bit more gentle than a bee brush. I got my smoker pellets. These are just your standard wood pulp pellets that are used to heat heaters in the winter up north. I'm just going to put maybe 2 inches in there. That might be too much. And I'm a cheater. I'll tell you that much right there, because my best friend hanging out with one of my mentors who also used to be a blacksmith, an old school blacksmith, a farrier on the side. He was an artistic blacksmith first and foremost, and he taught me on a bellows, slow and smooth. None of this right here. Slow and smooth, smooth as fast. This cage right here is to protect you from burning your skin. I'm gonna get a little more toast on here. pine needles burn hot, which are readily available. The smoker fuel is a lot more mild. It's not going to burn your bee butts. Smells good. Another item you can use are some dishwashing gloves. They've got good dexterity. They're a few bucks, and they're thick enough to repel any bee stings on your fingers. You can get the ones with the gauntlets that are made of goat skin, which are soft and supple. You can get a few other options as well, cowhide. But these right here, I used them when I captured the wild swarm, and they did just fine for me. Alright, so I chose this spot right here because it gets a nice bit of sun throughout the day, but then it's gonna be in a little bit of shade right behind me up against the fence facing southeast. It's really the best place I can think of in the lawn to put these honeybees. So I'm gonna go get some cinder blocks so that we can place the hive on it, and then we'll enter the nucleus into its new home. Now I'm using cinder blocks because I've got them, but they're also really affordable. At your big box store, around 70 cents to $1 is the average price at the time of this filming, 2018. So I've got 2 stacked on each side so that it's at least 16 inches off the ground, so that the mites can fall through onto the ground through the ventilated bottom. So it's not going to work if you go any lower to the ground than 16 inches, because they could crawl back up, but when the bees clean themselves, the mites fall through the screened bottom onto the ground, and it's too far of a distance for them to climb back up. Now I've got a proper amount of distance here for me to get this bottom piece out right here. Take that out so there's plenty of ventilation. I'm just going to use a veil. This ties down, goes around you, goes back in front, one size fits all. Another handy tool to have if you can't rope your spouse into helping you out and you're working alone in the backyard is a frame perch. Goes on the side of the hive body here, and the frame just rests right there on this perch. You can get 3 deep on a frame like so. Alright, always have a pocket knife with you. Move everything out of the way that you don't need. Blow some smoke in the hive nuke. You don't need a lot. I'm not sure what their temperament's going to be like, so I'm keeping it close by. Alright, I actually see the queen. Not looking for her, but I happen to just find her. I'm going to move to the other side because I feel a little claustrophobic. Keeping them oriented the way they came out of the box into the hive. This is quite exhilarating. deep side down. Lid on. You know what? Take the nuke box and take it away. Ooh, it's like Kool-Aid from the ghetto. Alright, so we're not done yet. I am inside now because we gotta feed our bees. Now I was all sticky, so I changed my shirt. It's probably from all the honey that the bees were pooping all over me. That was a joke. So it's important that we get them fed really fast. So it's only been about an hour. We would never let them go beyond a day. At least I personally wouldn't. I'm gonna show you what I'm personally gonna do for my feeding setup. You're going to need one of these. This is a plastic insert that goes into the hive entrance, into the entrance reducer, and if you look in here, I'm showing for you, this has a whole bunch of holes, and the bee food is gonna drip out of here into here, and the bees enter in through here, and they feed on the roof of this right here. You're gonna need a mason jar to go with it. Mason jar can be bigger than this, as I was instructed. That's probably only going to last me about a day, so I'm going to have to refill, which is how I'm going to show you my setup here to hopefully get you guys thinking about mass food and in an efficient manner of not wasting your own time when you're feeding your bees, if this is the option you're going to take right here. You're going to need a bucket, and it's from a homebrew supply store. It's food safe. It already has a pre-drilled hole here. You're also going to need one of these. This is a spigot that you can get also at your local homebrew supply store. So this video I want to be relevant to more than just the beginner beekeeper. I want it to this idea to come to anybody who's already into beekeeping and maybe is already making mead from the honey that they're harvesting. And this rotates like this, not because of the threads. This plastic piece rotates within the housing. When you go to feed, you're just gonna take your mason jar here and you're gonna fill up your spigot. All right, to make this worthwhile, I'm gonna do all of this sugar. Now there's some I was doing some reading on some beekeeping forums on whether or not to use brown sugar or turbinado sugar or anything that isn't white like this. Now we want this refined product because especially going through the winter, the bees, they don't defecate during the winter time. Now in Florida we're not going to have a winter like what you get up north, and it's basically the hive holds it in. They don't excrete any waste during the winter time. So when they have anything that isn't refined out of the sugar here, azúcar, they will actually, it messes with their system, makes them funky. I'm not really sure what's going on, but the majority of what I read said to use refined white sugar because when they go to do their cleansing flight after winter has passed, it makes a big mess. A lot of bee poop, like actual bee poop. So we're doing a 1-to-1 ratio here. 1 part water, 1 part sugar. Slowly and stirring occasionally to dissolve. Now I personally would use domino sugar because domino is a sugar that's refined from sugar cane, and that's a non-GMO product. This, I remember when I bought it for other fermentation experiments. No, not moonshine. In the brew lab, I remember reading the package and it's saying just pure sugar. Now when a package says pure sugar, that means that it's coming from sugar beets, which is a genetically modified plant. To get these bees started, we're just gonna hope that this doesn't put a strain on their immune system or their nervous system or any kind of internal bodily system that they operate with. Alright, so it's been not even 24 hours since I've installed the nucleus colony. And they've already gone through an entire one of these and a half of one within that 24 hours. So I'm heading on out to the beehive right now, and they're seemingly doing well. They're coming in and out of the colony. So it's a good sign so far, but like I said, it's only been 24 hours. Given that they're eating so much sugar water, there's a good chance that they are drawing out comb pretty well on the empty frames that are inside the colony. So let's head on out and take a look. So I'm just gonna come over here, take this off, shake the bees off here, take this off real quick. Voila, it's that simple. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. I've got it monitored close to my bedroom window, so I can see in the mornings how well they're doing. They're pretty sensitive right now because of the barometric pressure. It just finished raining. And I also wanted to point your attention over here as well. What I did is I went to the farm supply store and I picked up a chicken feeder, and I've had these marbles here that I couldn't figure out what to do with for the longest time. So I'm actually going to pour this in to the rim here, dump out a little bit extra water, and the bees are going to land on the marbles here, and they're going to suck up any water that they want. And I'm going to keep it over here off to the side because I am going to have another bee colony right next to it here in about a week, and it's going to be shared between the two. So I'd like the water in it to be cycled through pretty quickly so it doesn't get stagnant. So if two colonies are feeding on it instead of each getting their own, then it's going to go a lot faster and less likely of it getting stagnant. Now, bees actually prefer a water with a scent to it because they operate on smell. And these, if it does get a little bit stagnant, I'm not too concerned about it. The bees have been getting water from the wild in North America for centuries, and they're still around. Now, that's another discussion as to wild native colonies, which is different than feral colonies. Anyways, we'll table that discussion for another time.